We're going up Stone Arthur. Never been there before. Weather, fantastic. Should be in for a cracker of a day. Well, that's where we're heading. So you've got Grasmere village down there. The Swan. Just been talking to a really nice couple there just outside the Swan Inn who watched some of the videos before, and they're going to do exactly the same walk as me this afternoon. And this is the benefit of getting here nice and early. And it's a long time since I've seen that. And milk getting delivered. When I was 14 years old, getting up at 4:15 in the morning, 7 days a week, and doing a milk round. That's where we're heading up there, I think. Better check the map. But what a day today. The weather is absolutely sensational. I'll tell you something, it's been pants there the last few bloody months, has it not? So it's really nice to get a day like this. This is where we want to be. Public footpath. And what a great start to the walk this is. A nice way to slowly get warmed up. Waking up in the morning, and the first two things you hear is the sound of the gill and the sound of all the birds. So that's where we've come up from, through this gate, and it gives us two options: straight on, 4 o'clock time, or left to Stone Arthur. So left it is. So this was a very, very pleasant 5, not even 10 minutes to get to this point here, up a nice country lane, very pleasant views, and a great start to the walk. I'm hoping the rest of the walk's going to be as pleasant as this. It's been 6 weeks almost to the day since I was last out. Cannot believe it. I've been poorly again for 2 weeks. It seems to be every 3 months Mrs. Metalman seems to get some sort of virus or bug, and she's poorly for a week. As soon as she gets rid of it, she gives it to me, and obviously I get it worse. And I'm bad for about 2 weeks. I was hoping today to get out with Alan from 54 degrees north again. So you're at work, mate, you're missing out on a cracker of a day. So while I have another breather, yes, another one, you can tell I've been over 6 weeks, do you, me? Maybe it's a good time to answer another question. And I've got one question today, and 2 people have asked actually 3 people have asked the exact same thing. Ashley Arnold and Pete and Shell from OB's Outdoors. They asked, which is your worst fell? So similar question. It was Burke's, but it was Burke's, the short steep way up from Thornthwaite. You can go the longer way from Winlatter Forest, and if I ever did it again, that's the way I would do it, because the way we went, it was very steep. One other thing I would never do is follow my team leader of the day, Derek. Really nice lad, done a few walks with him, but we got to a scrambly section, and everybody was taking the right hand side, and Derek says, I'll tell you what, I'll show you the scenic route. It's a route I used to go years ago, and yeah, you guessed it, foolishly I followed him. Dear me. And I think it had initially all been like rock, but over the years, through lack of use, moss had covered all the rock area, so basically you couldn't see where any hands or footholds were. So we sort of crawled up there on our stomachs with Derek leading the way. We went up this little tiny gap in the trees, and even though it was a nice warm summer's day, there had been a lot of rain. This rock that was covered with moss was soaking wet. You couldn't find a handhold, you couldn't find a foothold. At one point I thought, I can't do this, I'm going to have to go down, but I looked down, I thought there's absolutely no way I can get down there. So I had to continue and follow Derek. Now I don't know if you ever heard of the term death by cop. This was death by Derek. Good God, We kept going up, and it kept getting worse and worse and worse. I thought, if Derek goes here, he's going to take me out with him. I have never ever been so thankful to get to the top and find a path as I was that day. So, lesson learned there: 1, never follow Derek, and 2, never ever go the short way up to Burke's. So hopefully that's answered that question. If you've got any more, leave them in a comment. You can see the road going down there where we parked, and over in the distance Grasmere Lake, looking absolutely superb. So the steps up next to them trees have been taken over by this type of path there now, which is very pleasant walking. You can see the way we're going. Somewhere up there is either a false summit or the summit of Stone Arthur. We'll soon find out. We've got to cross over that gale, and looks like we're heading up there. And I thought we were going to be up there. Either way, I better check the map. Well, according to the map, we're bang on track, but the path has taken us up here. It just goes to show the importance of having a map and knowing how to use it. I've said it umpteen times before, I always plan my route on OS Maps at home. Send that file to my phone, but remember, you must download it to your phone. And then whether you get a GPS signal or not, that map is on your phone, ready for you to use. There endeth the lesson for the day. A few people have asked us why she doesn't like climbing high. At the end of the day, she's climbed Ben Nevis before. Fair enough, it was in 1998, I think. If I've got a photograph, I'll put it in. And it was a day where we were with both my sons. They both turned back because the weather turned nasty. It was wet, it was cold, it was misty, and to be honest, if I'd been by myself, I would have turned back and all. But nothing was going to stop Mrs. Metalman from getting to the top of the UK's highest mountain. She finds it a bit of a chore there now, getting up these high fells, but like she says, I've done the highest one in the UK. Why bother with anything else? Fair point. So the map says we're going to turn round, and that's exactly what we are doing. So it looks like either that is the summit. Another 5 minutes, we'll be taking in these lovely views, have a drink, and get a bit of energy back inside of us again. So last little bit, looks a bit of a scrambly bit, so pulls away, and the final push to the top. Whew! Top of Stone Arthur, and just getting the top here, the wind gets up, but it's a lovely cooling wind, so am I bothered? Not the slightest. Oh, what a view behind us. I'm going to sit up here for a while. I'm going to chill out, I'm going to take it all in. Fairfield Horseshoe, which I did last year with Ashley Arnold and his lovely wife Andrea, who are both unfortunately suffering from COVID at the moment, so I hope they're well, because we've got quite a few walks planned, including the Kentmere Horseshoe, which I've never done before. But we did that last year, and just like just about everybody else, you're doing about 12 miles on that horseshoe, you're doing about 10 summits. So you have got the option to come off the horseshoe and do an out and back here, Stone Arthur. And just like everybody else, we left it. So just like everybody else, cursed about it later on, because you've got to do it as a separate walk, like I'm doing today. But to be honest, I'm not bothered. I'm loving it. So I down jacket back on there now, and just dropped down off the summit to get out that wind, which to be honest is a bit of a cold wind, and I don't want to cool down too much, so I'm going to have about 10-15 minutes here, because why on earth would you want to rush when you got that as a morning break stop? How nice is that? 6 weeks is far too long for me not to be out. I need to be out once a week, but obviously it's weather dependent, and the other thing is petrol is not cheap there now. Yeah, after 6 weeks I'm blown a bit, don't mind admitting that at all. So very gently dropped down off the summit there. Either way, today it's been fabulous. I've really enjoyed it. I just cannot believe the weather is going to change for the worse again next week, so thank goodness I've been out today. I stopped here on the way up for a comfort break, and I'm stopping on the way down, which reminds me of somebody. Long story, it's a new channel I have been watching. It's a kind of young lass from Northumberland called Kerry. She does a lot of wild camping, usually always by herself and a little dog up Northumberland, but a lot over the lakes. The last one she did was a snowy wild camp, and it was absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed it. So go over, check her out, give her a subscription, and I'll guarantee you'll enjoy it. Well, very nice end to a very good day. First time I've been in the Swan after the refurbishment, and it looks absolutely superb. So I think we'll be back here and bringing Mrs. Metalman with us. Maybe it's for a night or two. Thanks very much for watching. Cheers. If you've watched all the way through, thank you very much. Always appreciate it. And don't forget about checking out Kerry. Real good channel and a real canny lass as well. So it won't be too long before I'm back out again. Cheers.